Ladies and gentlemen, farming is very profitable, but we need to know these mysteries and we need to break the myths. Yes, our forefathers faced problems, but they faced problems so we can learn. So what good are we if we can't learn? What good are we if we can't change what they failed to change?
I have another myth or mystery. And we talked about it, but because I'm wise, I remember. It has to do with the fact that not many know that goats eat silage.
Yes. Let me tell you, I am promising you, goats do very well. If you see, even that guy that is doing well, if he doesn't get enough feed, he will not prosper.
And the right feed at that.
The right feed. Let me tell you, silage is one of the most discouraged pieces of food that animals should get.
Why is it discouraged anyway?
They don't know. They don't know how to do goat silage.
Oh, okay. But you do.
Goat silage must be dry. You know, cows will first look for molasses. They first drink that molasses before they even eat the food. You get my point? For goats, if they find that water, they will not eat. So, instead of giving them chisagas, add value to the chisagas. How? Add maize bran. Why do we add maize bran? Maize bran is, remember this chisagas, this napier, this pak chong, this, all of them know. It is wet. It is not yet dry. So it has some water in it. So when we add the maize bran, this water will now go into the, because we are going to hide it underground. So it is going to kind of sweat the water in it. Get my point? But no sooner will it sweat than the maize bran suckle the water. So we are going to have a dry silage, but the silage is now going to change. So we are going to have fiber and bran, but mixed in good ratios.
Yeah.
You get my point? So when we bring here, this bran has also, the calories in the bran has, the quantities and the nutrient content has been increased because it has been fermented a bit. You get my point? So the goats will eat bran, but in a fermented manner, not the ordinary manner, which is actually very raw and very toxic. Did you know that if goats eat a lot of bran, will die?
No, I didn't know.
In one single take, if a goat takes more than, not even more than a quarter and takes maybe half a kilogram or a kilogram, it will not survive.
Why?
Because this is a ruminant. This is not a pig. Yes. You know, pigs are like human beings. They will just one rumen, but this has 4.
Yeah.
So this part, it will not chew cud because it has nothing to bring back. So it will just do, how they call it, bloat. And bloat, it will create air inside the stomach. So the air will push up to the heart and break the heart at once, and the goat will die, and it has no sickness, but it has been broken and killed by foolishness of the farmer. Wachenga?
No.
So, when we are giving it silage, this is a mystery. It is only why we are doing. If you give the goats silage, they will have more weight than the actual goats taking just protein. Do you know that carbohydrates is energy-giving food?
Yes.
You get my point? Do you know that if there is an excess energy, it becomes fat? You get my point? And do you know that it is the fat that gives you more weight?
Yes.
You get my point? So does it make sense now? And silage is giving us that. Because it has only one thing, fiber, which is going to speed up the metabolism, and it has what? Bran. We can put microbes, we may not. We may put, we may not. We can put molasses, just a little, but we don't put a lot because the silage must be hot and dry. So if you really want to know how much profitable this goat business is, and you actually want to know, reach out to Youth Platform Africa. We shall show you the other avenues through which you can make money from the goat business. And if you are just there saying, no, wait until I am flying and you are still in traffic jam.
He never ceases to amaze and amuse. But that's all we had for you today. Keep those comments coming in. #NTV Seeds of Gold. We have got so much more in store for you. So join us again next weekend while we bring you more insight into agribusiness. Do not go away. We have got NTV Weekend Edition coming up next. We have got your top news stories, and you know that it's the fact on fact. Thank you so much for watching. I remain your host, Sheila Nabapo. Have a good night.
Ntv, turning on your world.
It's back, bigger, and with more business opportunities. It's the Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo, Poate 2026, Uganda's flagship tourism event. Poate 2026 will take place from the 21st to the 23rd of May 2026 at the Speak Resort Convention Center, Munyonyo, under the theme Wanderlust. It's your time to thrive. Yes, it's your time to tap into Uganda's renewed optimism and tourism growth. Tourism stakeholders, travel trade partners, and tourism enthusiasts will be part of the Poate 2026. Come and network with like-minded people and unlock new business opportunities. To participate, register at www.poate.co.ug. Poate 2026 is brought to you by Uganda Tourism Board and partners.
Accidents, they never warn you. 1 minute you're fine, the next, bam! And in those stressful moments, the last thing you need is piles of paperwork and confusing forms. Big stack, tiny patience. You'll sweat more than a border rider in traffic. That's why you need Gold Star Insurance. With our claims app, making a claim has never been easier. Just open the app, tap, make a claim, and you're done. Simple, fast, no stress, no kuyiriba. Why struggle with outdated paperwork when you can handle everything right from your phone? Gold Star Insurance makes it easy. Tap it, click it, claim it. Download the Gold Star Claims app today and make claims simple anytime, anywhere. Gold Star Insurance is regulated by the Insurance Regulatory Authority of Uganda.
Beautiful, soft care pads. So fit, so right.
Ntv, turning on your world.
A very good evening to you, and thank you for joining us on NTV Weekend Edition this Saturday. I'm Mildred Bedun together with Maureen Nambalira on Sign Language. Here are the day's top stories.
NTV Weekend Edition, brought to you by
DFCU, going further together.
Tonight, Samuel Kajoba has been installed as new Archbishop of the Seventh-day Adventist Church of Uganda, replacing Dr. Moses Makan Dimuchika, who has been at the helm. The United States and Israel launched strikes on Iran on Saturday, plunging the Middle East into a new conflict as retaliatory Iranian missile and
FC.
We are broadcasting live from the Kampala Serena Conference Centre and streaming on our social media platforms, NTV Uganda, and our website, ntv.co.ug. Thank you for joining us once again. This is NTV Weekend Edition. Now, Samuel Kajoba has been installed as the new Seventh-day Adventist Church Archbishop for the next 5 years, replacing Dr. Moses Maka, who has held the position since 2023. At the event presided over by the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Thomas Tayebwa, Kajoba, now the 9th Seventh-day Adventist Church Archbishop, has been urged to mentor members of his new team to be ready to take over when his tenure expires.
Hundreds of believers have thronged the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Najanankombi amid the morning downpour to witness the installation of Samuel Kajoba, the new Archbishop who is replacing Dr. Moses Maka. The special Sabbath ceremony has drawn religious, cultural and political leaders, including Deputy Speaker of Parliament Thomas Tayebwa, the second Deputy Katikiro of the Buganda Kingdom, Waswan Sibira, born-again faith leader Dr. Joseph Serada, and the Archbishop of the Orthodox Church in Uganda, Metropolitan Geronimos Mosei, among others. The outgoing Archbishop, Dr. Moses Maka, who led the special Sabbath prayers, has urged leaders to always mentor their members for a smooth transition of authority.
Study yourself to be approved of God first. Be a guru and a mentor. But I want you to know that you are going Today, prepare your exit and never dare to fight your continuity state. When you do that, you fight those who are supposed to take over. I am prophesying that soon there is one going to take over.
Kajoba, in his homily, he has commended the ruling NRM government for the peace.
We will continue to promote peace, unity, and stability in our beloved country. The church must always be an instrument of reconciliation, harmony, and hope. In times of uncertainty, must be voices of calm. In moments of tension, we are supposed to be ambassadors of peace.
Deputy Speaker of Parliament Thomas Tayebwa, who represented President Museveni, has hailed the Adventist Church for nurturing believers.
As if you are not just a church, you are a movement. You are a movement. Movement is single to together movement. You're a movement which brings spiritual conviction with practical service society. I was reading about the issues you emphasize, and I was excited to see that you emphasize health.
Samuel Kajoba, born in 1958, at 67 years, has a 5-decade journey in ministry after he began serving God in 1977. Juliet Nalwoga, NTV.
Now shifting focus to the international scene, multiple Gulf Arab states have closed their airspaces after the United States and Israel launched a morning attack against Iran, leading to counter-attacks. The safety measure that has caused flight disruptions was declared by Iran itself. Israel, Bahrain, the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Kuwait and Jordan. Iran launched a barrage of missiles and drones targeted at U.S. assets in the region, for which a naval base in Bahrain was struck.
Sounds of explosions engulfed the Iranian capital Tehran and several other cities following the joint United States and Israel attack on the Islamic State. The first sounds of the explosions were reported at 9:30 a.m. on Saturday. Facilities linked to Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, such as the presidential palace and offices in Tehran, appear to have been targeted in the attack. However, Reuters news agency stated that a source divulged that Khamenei had been moved out of Tehran. Shortly after the joint U.S.-Israeli attack, Iran, as expected, unleashed a barrage of missiles, which Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps stated that it targeted U.S. assets in Israel, Bahrain, the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Kuwait and Jordan. The U.S. naval base in Bahrain is reported to have been struck. Captured videos showed plumes of black smoke billowing from the U.S. Navy's 5th Fleet in Manama, Bahrain. To defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime.
A short time ago, the United States military began major combat operations in Iran. Our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime.
Trump noted that the aim is to ensure that Iran does not obtain nuclear weapons.
It has always been the policy of the United States, in particular, my administration, that this terrorist regime can never have a nuclear weapon. I'll say it again, they can never have a nuclear weapon.
Focus of the attack appears to be aimed at regime change, as Trump told the Iranians to take over the government when they are finished.
To the great, proud people of Iran, I say tonight that the hour of your freedom is at hand. Stay sheltered, don't leave your home. It's very dangerous outside. Bombs will be dropping everywhere. When we are finished, take over your government. It will be yours to take. This will be probably your only chance for generations.
However, Iran's Foreign Affairs Minister Abbas Araghchi rebuked the joint U.S.-Israeli attack as wholly unprovoked, illegal and illegitimate. Talks between Iran and the U.S. that were taking place in Oman and Geneva were hoped that they would help avert the violence. Oman, which mediated the indirect talks, indicated that Iran had agreed never to stockpile enriched uranium. In June 2025, Israel and Iran fought a 12-day war that ended with the U.S. bombing of nuclear facilities in Fordo, Natanz, and Esfahan. The latest attack has attracted reaction from leaders across the world, with the United Nations Human Rights Chief Volker Turk calling for restraint and de-escalation to pave the way for a return to the negotiating table. Russia condemned and called the strike a reckless move by the U.S. and Israel.
And now back home, delays at the Busia border, which is one of the major export and import routes along the northern corridor for the landlocked countries, is hurting international trade. We do have the detail to this report.
Delays at the Busia border, which is one of the major export and import routes along the northern corridor for the landlocked countries, is hurting international trade. Lamek Musete, a truck driver, has spent over 24 hours waiting in a long queue of trucks whose drivers are waiting to be cleared by border revenue officers. His truck is carrying tiles destined for Kenya.
So from yesterday, we are stuck in traffic. There's nothing going on, just overlapping. The road is narrow. They need to extend the roads.
Musete, a Kenyan national, says the delays are increasing costs of doing business between Uganda and Kenya.
The more you spend more time on the road, even the mileage itself is not enough. For food, it's not enough actually. It's very small because of the traffic. But if there is no traffic, it's good.
Musete is not alone. James Peter O'Michael, who transports clinker, a raw material used in manufacturing cement, from Kisumu to Tororo Cement Company, says the delays are hurting trade. Busia border, like Malaba border post, provides a major link to the landlocked countries in the Great Lakes region to the port of Mombasa. According to figures provided by custom officials, on average, Busia border post records between 500 to 750 trucks and is a major import route for fuel to Uganda and regional states of South Sudan, DR Those who are frustrated try to get around the problem.
Kwanza wanajaribu usipoweka lock pande hiyo, unashtukia wamefungua gari, wamekuvamia kwa gari ndani, wameiba simu, kila kitu yako inaenda.
Ali Dumba, another truck driver, says they hardly have any time to step out of their trucks, and many drivers were getting health and complications behind the steering wheels. The Busia town authorities are aware of the challenges caused by the congestion.
As municipal authorities, we have discussed with our stakeholders, we are going to have a diversion in long run to have a northern bypass road which connects to Bustema sub-county and then eventually to the highway, and then another on this side to pass via Vuyengo and Davani, then it eventually connects to Majanji Road.
Godfrey Owundo Ongwabe thinks the planned creation of new entry points at Mulwada and Buteba, if expedited, would ease congestion.
By requesting the central government to expedite and come up with the two alternative borders of Mulwanda and Lumino and Buteba to ease the congestion which is affecting this town.
Yes.
And now crossing over to Mbale City, authorities there have issued an ultimatum to the street vendors, border riders, truck drivers and bus and taxi drivers to leave the streets by Monday, March 2nd, warning that those who will refuse to leave will be forcefully evicted.
Vendors have been operating on streets while border operators and truck drivers park in ungazetted spaces on roads and walkways.
And that is not the way things are supposed to be done. A city or a town is supposed to have places for everybody. You have streets where there are shops. People trading on those streets are people who have operating from the shops.
Abiri revealed that all street vendors will be allocated space in public markets.
We actually have ample space in these markets. We have people who have been allocated space in these markets. We have those who have even run away. These markets belong to government. They belong to Mbale City. So we can allocate anybody. These
spaces where trucks, commuter taxis and border borders will be parked have been identified. However, vendors say they have not been engaged by city leaders, as if they are not stakeholders who pay all levies and taxes to the city council. The group is demanding an engagement with government officials to ensure fairness.
Father John Baptist Senkali, the Assistant Judicial Vicar, Kampala Archdiocese, and also the Assistant Parish Priest of served.
I'd like to welcome you on this program today in a special way.
Vendors will be allocated space in public markets.
We actually have ample space in these markets.
40 days and 40 nights. Now for us as
allocated space in these markets. We have those who have even run away. These markets belong to government. They belong to Mbare City. So
sort of you want to create some. So when we fast, usually if you're fasting food, you can skip a meal, normally, which is lunch, because then you are fasting during the day. So you can skip lunch, and then you will take dinner. But then it's advisable that whenever you skip this, a bit is just a meal, the lunch, and then you skip dinner as well, because you need to keep healthy. Because the whole point is purification and a little suffering that you take to purify yourself. So you can have the first 12, you can do your fasting in the 12 hours of the day.
All right, we now stop for a break, but NTV Weekend Edition returns with more stories. Do stay with us.
Still to come.
I lost my capacity to do a lot of things.
Slavian Namukasa is living the reality of obesity, weighing over 150 kilograms and feeling imprisoned in her body. She is determined to change the status now medically. And in sport, Heathens Rugby Club defeated rivals Pirates by 30-26 points at the Chadondo to register their third win in this season's Uganda Rugby Premiership.
You're only getting better. They are so up to dominate this.
NTV Weekend Edition returns shortly.
Banking has never been this easy. Bank Kumapesa with DFCU. Your phone is your bank. No queues, no forms, just banking. Anywhere, anytime. Here's how you get started. Step 1, dial *240#. Step 2, select language. Step 3, accept registration. Step 4, account terms and conditions. Step 5, enter account number.
Is now medically. And in sport, Heathens Rugby Club defeated rivals Pirates by 30-26 points at the Chadondo to register their third win in this season's Uganda Rugby Premiership.
You're only getting better. They are so up to dominate this.
NTV Weekend Edition returns shortly.
Banking has never been this easy. Bank Kumapesa with DFCU. Your phone is your bank. No queues, no forms, just banking. Anywhere, anytime. Here's how you get started. Step 1, dial *240#. Step 2, select language. Step 3, accept registration. Step 4, account terms and conditions. Step 5, enter account number. Step 6, enter NIN for Ugandans or passport number for international. Step 7, answer security question. Now, dial *240# anytime to pay bills, buy airtime, send money, load floats, manage cards, and even grab a loan of up to 5 million shillings. Welcome to DFCU Bank Kumapesa. Real banking convenience on your Mapesa phone.
DFCU, going further together.
Get the new Always #1 Skin Hygiene Protection, giving you a heavy flow 3 times better protection. Available in stores near you now at 2,500 shillings.
Welcome back and thank you for keeping it NTV. You are still watching NTV Weekend Edition. Now, border leaders and the Uganda Taxi Operators Federation are alarmed by KCCA's new transport rules set to be implemented in 2 weeks' time. They say the gazetted stages are far too few for thousands of operators in Kampala. The leaders warn many border and taxi operators will lose work and fear increased chaos. But KCCA insists that the rules are meant to decongest the city and also reduce on crime. Daniel Kibet has more.
Kampala Capital City Authority, KCCA, is set to roll out new guidelines to regulate borders and taxis in Kampala. Under the new Kampala City Transport Regulatory Plan, border riders will be restricted to operating in gazetted stages. KCCA has reportedly been engaging leaders of the taxi and border sector regarding this new development. But some border leaders claim they are not privy to the arrangement.
We are planning to, together with the Uganda Taxi Operators Federation and the border management, to push back and reorganize the city to have our city transport flow enhanced.
We do not know which leaders represented the borders actually, because were they association leaders? Because the border leadership we are having here is currently associations. And the KCC is very well versed. It knows that it has different associations which have different leaders. So none of them, I don't know, like border industry has never received a formal invitation for that. Neither do also border stage leaders have gotten in an invitation to come in and give their thoughts.
The other issue of contestation is the gazetted number of stages vis-a-vis the number of border operators. There are 937 verified and geocoded border stages across Kampala, and each stage is supposed to accommodate 30 border operators. This means just about 28,000 operators will be allowed to conduct business in the capital.
KCC, before it turned to KCC, the previous KCC council, it had over 1,200 border stages that were gazetted. Now, KCC, you are coming up, as an authority, you are reducing that number. Remember, by the time KCC gazetted those stages, the population was low. Now, the population, we expect it to have tripled to the number that existed by then.
Stage 10, stage 20, the stage ezakakasibwa nenga ezimu zirinda.
The city has 1,021 stages. Only 929 are gazetted. Some stages are not. We need more stages to be gazetted.
On
the other hand, taxis face bans on street pickups and drop-offs. They must use gazetted parks and routes, lest they are penalized or even face legal consequences.
Era mujjukirako emabega nti omukulembeze w'eggwanga alina ekiragiro kye yalagira aba KCCA nti at least buli division bafunemu parks bbiri ng'ate park eriko n'akatale.
Every city division should actually have at least one taxi park. Government has only 2 parks. Others are privately owned, and drivers cannot afford to pay park user fees and other levies.
Kakati ne park ezo ekizirimu nti omuntu azikoleramu akoleramu ku bwereere. Kati park endala ze tulina ez'obwannannyini okugikoleramu osasula ssente.
Despite the limitations, the leadership of critical players in the city's transport sector say they are committed to working with KCCA in a bid to create order in Kampala's mobility sector.
We don't want to be in this politics, but we look forward to see that we work together with the KCC, harmonize and organize this city. We don't want to have the narrative of saying that the borders are uncontrollable. It is you people who make us uncontrollable because you don't give us an ear to listen to what we want, but you give us a directive.
KCCA says the forthcoming changes will cut chaos, crime and congestion. However, boda and taxi leaders warn many riders and drivers will be pushed out. They fear chaos and lost livelihoods, but authorities insist that boda and taxi operators must comply or face penalties. Daniel Kibet, NTV.
Well, thank you, Daniel. Now, Sylvia Namukasa is living the reality of obesity, weighing over 150 kilograms. She feels imprisoned in her body and is determined to change the status now medically. Namukasa is preparing to undergo bariatric surgery, a procedure that doctors describe as potentially life-saving in the fight against severe obesity. Now, obesity is a chronic and complex disease marked by excessive body fat. It is medically diagnosed when a person's body mass index or BMI is 30 and above and classified as severe when it rises beyond 40.
42-year-old Sylvia Namukasa sits on this hospital bed at Sally International Hospital, hoping that her decision today will be one to change her life. An accountant by profession, Namusoke has found navigating life quite challenging because of the excess weight she carries.
On March 22nd, 2024, I had my son, who is so far the only child, and it took years of waiting, but some of this...
Well, thank you, Daniel. Now, Sylvia Namukasa is living the reality of obesity, weighing over 150 kilograms. She feels imprisoned in her body and is determined to change the status now medically. Namukasa is preparing to undergo bariatric surgery, a procedure that doctors describe as potentially life-saving in the fight against severe obesity. Now, obesity is a chronic and complex disease marked by excessive body fat. It is medically diagnosed when a person's body mass index or BMI is 30 and above and classified as severe when it rises beyond 40.
42-year-old Sylvia Namukasa sits on this hospital bed at Sally International Hospital, hoping that her decision today will be one to change her life. An accountant by profession, Namusoke has found navigating life quite challenging because of the excess weight she carries.
On March 22nd, 2024, I had my son, who is so far the only child, and it took years of waiting, but some of this is linked to my body's inability. I lost my agility, I lost my capacity to do a lot of things. And until that time, when I got hope from Dr. Sally, who was able to help me deliver a bouncing baby boy, normal and healthy. But after the birth of my son, I again took a disproof of path that I had a lot of criticisms, a lot of segregation, a lot of stereotype that I've been battling with, especially in terms of my inability to do things on my own.
She says she has tried diets, exercise, and lifestyle changes, but nothing has worked. Now, weighing more than 150 kilograms, she feels trapped in her own body.
It's a very lonely journey that nobody will ever understand the pain that one suffering with obesity goes through, because the weight gets on your knees, the weight gets on your back, and you're not able to even do the simple basic chores. And for me, painfully, I could not even carry my own child in my hands because I couldn't, because of the body.
Namsoke dreams of a time she'll take a glance in the mirror and see her leaner self. She has placed the hopes of this to happen in the hands of specialists at Dr. Sally International Hospital, where she will undergo bariatric surgery. Bariatric surgery is recommended for patients with severe obesity, especially when other weight loss interventions have failed.
I find myself in a situation where I could hardly pursue my career. I lost clientele because of my lack of speed in the way I do things, and that took to undermine my intellect, because I'm a very intelligent person. But you see, when somebody sees your body, they tend not to take you serious, because they always think you're lazy, and it has affected the way I've been pursuing my career. And so, for me, it is about time that I've stepped up and came to embrace this challenge and have a healthier life beyond today.
The procedure to be performed by Dr. Sally alongside
accommodation roughly about, if you stay in even the lowest, 2-star or 1-star or something, at least $200. Here, in Kampo and Kagambia, you can not more than $5,000.
Medical experts explain that obesity is a complex condition. While lifestyle factors such as diet and physical inactivity contribute, genetics can also play a significant role. Unchecked obesity increases the risk of diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, and joint complications. For this patient, the surgery represents more than weight loss. It is a chance at reclaiming her mobility, confidence, and long-term health. Doctors emphasize that bariatric surgery is not a cosmetic procedure, but a medically supervised intervention that requires strict follow-up, lifestyle adjustment, and long-term commitment from patients. Walter Mwesije, NTV.
And now talking matters education, leaders at St. Francis Primary School in Bulindo, Kiramu Municipality, have raised concern over poor learner performance, attributing it to parental neglect and lack of basic scholastic materials. They say inadequate parental support is greatly affecting learners' academic performance. We do have the detail to this report.
Francis Primary School is a government-aided institution located in Bulindo, Kiramu Municipality. The school sits on land belonging to St. Joseph Mukasa Valley Kudembe Church. The school has an enrollment of 480 pupils. According to the latest primary leaving examination results, 53 candidates sat for the exams, with only one pupil attaining a first grade, while the rest obtained lower grades.
I hope when we get a boarding section for the P7 these children are bound to do better work than that one of last year.
The head teacher, Mary Natabi Mangadalena, says many parents have abandoned their responsibility of supporting their children's education. She notes that several learners report to school without basic scholastic materials and in some cases without having had a meal.
Children come to school when they are very hungry and we try to feed them. But also other facilitation fails, like books, like uniform, and even it makes our school to look quite awkward.
She further explains that some children miss school altogether and instead engage in petty trade in villages to support their families. Others are reportedly left under the care of domestic workers with limited supervision and spend most of their time watching television rather than studying.
Some parents come here direct after the exams and tell us that their children don't read books. When they go back, they refuse to read the books. Others just watch the television and they don't revise. Others have much work at home. Some of the children come from the guardians. They went there to help the family, and they have bulky work there at home.
The school also faces infrastructural challenges, including limited teachers' accommodation, a situation that affects staff morale and concentration in class.
If our teachers get well conducive environment for sleeping in, our teachers can put in effort. But when they are not also in a good environment, the teachers also somehow relax.
That the performance is increasing, and I know that government usually works in partnership. When we look at the Education Act, it recognizes that there are stakeholders. We have the parents, we have the teachers, we have the Parent Teachers Association, we have the School Management Committee, and then we have the community. In this case, the church is very close as well. We have the community of the church, and through the community of the church, of course, we have the congregation members of that church as well, who are now the community of this. And we know that government doesn't do it alone. It begins, puts the minimum numbers of teachers that are required and the minimum infrastructure, but recognizing that the community is also a very important stakeholder.
These concerns were raised during the commissioning of a 2-classroom block constructed by Rotary Club Nigeria.
We started this journey 3 years ago, and today I am happy that we've actually delivered. It has come to fruition. We thank our partners that have partnered with us in this journey, because we could not have done it without them.
We didn't do it because we wanted, but we came through and had a meeting, and their need was actually the classroom. The school has teachers that has pupils, but some of the classes have been turned into houses.
Speaking at the event, representatives from Rotary Club Nigeria pledged continued support to the school, particularly in the construction of sanitation facilities, which remain a pressing need.
And we'll continue working and partnering with this school community to actually meet the needs that are there. Rotary, Eyamba.
All right, let's now listen in to this Ramadan message.
Ramadan is about hunger, but not hunger. Hunger awakens compassion. Some of us, we get everything we need on a silver plate. Some don't. So hunger has a language that the heart understands. In Ramadan, we test what millions feel daily in Palestine, in Niger, in many countries where people are hungry. This experience softens arrogance and awakens generosity, that we should give back to the community where we are living. We should give back to humanity. The fasting person realizes that privilege is a trust and compassion is an obligation. To be compassionate is an obligation, because whatever you have, it's God who gave you. And Allah describes the righteous and says, وَيُطْعِمُونَ الطَّعَامَ عَلَى حُبِّهِ مِسْكِينًا وَيَتِيمًا وَأَسِيرًا. They give food, though they love it, to the needy, the orphan, and the captive. They give food. It doesn't mean that they give the whatever remains, but they give what they love. They give the food they're eating. They don't just give the leftovers. They give their food they eat from. So Ramadan teaches the true fullness is feeding others.
same great cube that makes your beans tasty, now in a new pack. Get the Royco Cube Co-String at a duka or supermarket near you. Just pull, tear, and crumble for the tastiest beans.
Give the leftovers, they give their food they eat from. So Ramadan teaches the true fullness is feeding others.
The same great cube that makes your beans tasty, now in a new pack. Get the Royco Cube Co-String at a duka or supermarket near you. Just pull, tear, and crumble for the tastiest beans.
Start something new, something uplifting, something so effortless and golden. A thirst-quenching burst of sweetness and malty flavor. So rich and full of memories. It's 100% taste, zero alcohol. Try it, savor it, feel it elevate every moment. Sip after sip, gulp after gulp. After all, life's about turning ordinary thrills into golden chills.
Start something malty with the new Evervest Malt Apple and Pineapple. Try the burst of sweetness and malty flavor. It's 100% taste, zero alcohol. Available in a shop or supermarket near you. Evervest Malt. Make every moment golden. Evervest Malt is from the makers of Pepsi Cola in Uganda.
You are watching NTV Weekend Edition.
Continuing with more stories in NTV Weekend Edition, Kasensero landing site in Chotera district, once known for its booming fishing trade, is now grappling with declining fish stocks, illegal fishing and other transnational crimes. The landing site, with an estimated population of over 2,000 people, a once thriving fishing hub, had become a hotspot for insecurity. But IOM's Countering Transnational Crime on Lake Victoria project is now tightening surveillance, restoring coordination among agencies and building trust between authorities and the community, offering fresh hope for safety on Africa's largest lake.
Kasensero landing site on Lake Victoria is home to about 2,000 residents whose lives revolve around the water. But local leaders here say the lake is no longer as generous as its fish stocks declined. Jessica Namboze, a councillor at the landing site, says illegal fishing practices are worsening the crisis.
People are engaged in illegal fishing using unauthorized fishing gear.
The government is responsible for the continued illegal fishing. If it stopped importation of unaccepted fishing nets, there would be no supply.
There's what they call kokota. Now, when they use the so-called kokotas, it picks whatever is down there. Whether it's a yesterday born one, what, it will come.
Another issue that the leaders have raised concern over is insecurity on the lake, with a number of fishermen reportedly killed.
We may have buried close to 50 fishermen last year alone.
Kasensero is not just a fishing community, it is also an island border point under the Mutukula cluster. But with its vast waters comes vulnerability.
So there is boat theft and engine theft. It's been very, very rampant. Then what is worst is what they call unregulated, unregistered, and unrecorded fishing.
But beyond the lake, another silent crime has been unfolding. This is human trafficking.
We have the refugee center here. If you look around, this is a landing site. There are so many hotels, small restaurants. There are so many bars. There are sex workers here. So these people are being picked. They are picked from these settlement centers to offer cheap labor, to offer cheap sex.
The immigration officer says before the introduction of the Countering Transnational Organized Crime Project on Lake Victoria, coordination among agencies was weak.
We would not come together and work together. So it was a very big challenge.
Today, officials credit the program for improving operations. A vehicle donation, a containerized office, and digital systems under the MIDA platform have strengthened border management.
Getting a four-choir book and would record. But when IOM came, did its survey, looked at what is needed, check that system. It gave us the MIDAS system. We are fully connected.
Authorities say reporting mechanisms have improved and communities are now more vigilant.
The crimes are reducing. People have teamed up and they're like, let's own this. Let's protect our lake. Let's protect our children who are vulnerable. Let's protect this, our boats and engines, so they are vigilant.
Still, challenges remain, especially in monitoring ungazetted areas of the lake.
And by immigration, we only man mostly places that are gazetted. But those that are not gazetted, much as we do patrols, we cannot reach anywhere, everywhere. We need.
Who lost to an NRM candidate and later defected to the ruling party, reportedly accused the NUP officials and lawyers of deliberately not helping suspects out of prison. And now I am joined by one of the party lawyers, George Musisi, who is also the Kira Municipality MP-elect, to understand why they are not doing enough to secure freedom for their colleagues. Good evening to you, Councillor, and thank you for joining us.
Pleasure to be here. Good evening, Mildred, and the viewers.
And so you heard the Honourable Yusuf Nsabambi is accusing you, the NUP lawyers, of not doing much to get your colleagues that are in prison for, some of them for the longest time. How do you respond to this?
Of course, the accusation is unfair, given that, and I've had him making the same accusation to the lawyers representing Dr. Kizza Besigye. Similarly, I think it's unfair. The lawyers representing the political prisoners have done everything under the laws to secure their release. And the only reason, and anyone who says that they're not doing enough is only agreeing to the fact that maybe they are being held for extra legal reasons. They're not held for legal reasons or lawful reasons, but they are held on other reasons, which is an acknowledgement that Yusuf is tacitly making. Honorable Yusuf, the lawyers have done almost everything that there is legally. We've had over 5 bail applications, even after the Supreme Court decision. Remember, the Supreme Court decision of 31st January 2025, which even said that many of those people who are facing charges in the court-martial should be transferred to civilian courts, which has been defied with impunity. That is not the job of the lawyers to go and transfer the files. What the lawyers were supposed to do, to move court to ensure that these people are released, courts have almost shut their doors onto these people. So I think with the greatest of respect, Honorable Yusuf is cherry-picking. He's using this as a good political line for his newfound political position.
But he's offered an alternative for what can be done so as to see that those people are out of the are released. Because he set an example. He says over 80 people are lined up or going to be released, and all the NUP supporters or those that are in prison, all they have to do is to just go and apologize and admit that they were misled.
Well, for starters, there are two things in that. As a lawyer, if you have to look at it from pure legal reasons, under what circumstances would the suspect apologize and be released? a suspect would only be released or pardoned by the president if they plead guilty and then the president pardons you. The other option, the political one, is acknowledging that these people were held illegally, let them be released unconditionally. That is the political option. If, first of all, for us, we are calling for the release of these people unconditionally, because in the first place, they're not supposed to be in prison. And there are other people who are turning around saying, no, NUP is not interested in the release of these people. We are calling for the unconditional release of these people.
But you're saying they're not supposed to be in prison. Yes, the government is putting, for example, Honorable Mwanga Chivumbi is being accused of terrorism.
Yes, and
there are charges levied against all the prisoners that are in prison right now as we speak.
Of course, even Mandela was facing charges. It's under these sometimes this government, it's very easy to have a charge, to use the law. It's called weaponizing the law to hold you in some bit of lawful custody. For instance, people like Waiso Mufumbiro, he's held in prison because he was alleged to have been at Kavule in February. The lawyer, if you have to look at it from pure legal reasons, under what circumstances would the suspect apologize and be released? A suspect would only be released or pardoned by the president if they plead guilty and then the president pardons you. The other option, the political one, is acknowledging that these people were held illegally, let them be released unconditionally. That is the political option. If, first of all, for us, we are calling for the release of these people unconditionally, because in the first place, they're not supposed to be in prison. And there are other people who are turning around saying, no, NUP is not interested in the release of these people. We are calling for the unconditional release of these people.
But you're saying they're not supposed to be in prison. Yes, the government is putting, for example, Honorable Mwanga Chivumbi is being accused of terrorism.
Yes, and
there are charges levied against all the prisoners that are in prison right now as we speak.
Of course, even Mandela was facing charges. It's under these sometimes this government, it's very easy to have a charge, to use the law. It's called weaponizing the law to hold you in some bit of lawful custody. For instance, people like Waiso Mufumbiro, he's held in prison because he was alleged to have been at Kavule in February when he wasn't there. Physically wasn't there. There's even evidence that wasn't at the very place. There are people like Gaddafi. He's also in Chitaria prison. He wasn't even there where he's being physically accused. So there, you can be there for all sorts of reasons. Eddie Mutwe is accused of holding a knife together with over 10 other people to steal a phone. So it's not about the charge, because all forms of political prisoners in the world have faced some form of charges. It's used to legalize their detention. But we are not against the release of these people. We are saying these people should be unconditionally released. What is unfair, of course, is some of these people taunting it for obviously political reasons sometimes. Honorable, we were just freshly charged about a month ago. So we should talk about the bigger issue of weaponizing the judicial system to fight political gain.
So as the party, I know you say you have done everything. They have a dialogue, they have an agreement with the government.
I've not spoken to Sauda, but I've spoken to Doreen, and I know that he has not spoken to Honorable Sivambi or any of his agents. So what I'm saying, what is unfair to those people is us to use them to achieve political gains. What we should demand for as a country, and what we're demanding for now, is the unconditional release of political prisoners intending to use it for political gains. And that's what I'm saying, that if indeed we want to bring an end in the issue of political prisoners, let us talk about the whole issue of weaponizing the justice system. It's what has brought. Why do we weaponize the justice system? Because we shouldn't be talking about 1, 2, 3 people. Then, as you are releasing them, you are holding into custody 100 others. And then they also, meanwhile, we're talking about adults, some of whom are over. The Minister of Children's Affairs convinced some people to go out, and they went out. However, the issue of political prisoners has not stopped because, like you've rightly mentioned, people like Honorable Mwanga Chivumbi were just freshly charged about a month ago. So we should talk about the bigger issue of weaponizing the judicial system to fight political gain.
So as the party, I know you say you have done everything in your power to try and secure their release, but how then do we move on from here? What plans then do you have, since you are not even willing to do as the president is asking, to go and apologize and admit that these people were misled?
I don't know what you call misled. And I don't know who. Of course, that is political talk. That is political talk by politicians who are intending to use it for political gains. And that's what I'm saying, that if indeed we want to bring an end to the issue of political prisoners, let us talk about the whole issue of weaponizing justice system. It's what has brought the issue of political prisoners back to the fore. Because if you say these people were misled by who? Why don't you arrest the misleaders? Meanwhile, we're talking about adults, some of whom are over 50 years of age. They are not misled. In any case, they are facing different charges. So one was misled to do terrorism, another one was misled to do aggravated robbery, another one misled to be a common nuisance. So that is political talk. The issue is, everywhere there is talk of political prisoners, people should not be talking about political prisoners 31 years after the promulgation of our constitution, which respects the rights of freedom of association and assembly. We should talk about, and you're saying that as a party, what should you do? We should talk about how can people enjoy politics without fear of recrimination or being criminalized.
Now, Council, your president, Robert Kyagulanyi, is in hiding, and almost all the vice presidents are also battling various cases in courts of law. Would you say you are experiencing a leadership void, and also how every other thing is playing? Could it be tagged to the fact that the vision bearer of the party is not within?
There's no leadership void. There's no leadership void. Physical absence doesn't mean absence, doesn't mean void. No. He has even communicated to the whole world, as you have seen. Every time he has needed to communicate, he has communicated. That means he communicates to the people he wants to communicate to when he wants to. So there's no void.
Okay.
Yes.
And so now you've described clearly what what is happening within the political party. Of course, having some of the supporters, even some of the leaders, incarcerated and under, arrest. How does the party then intend to survive given the circumstances going forward?
The party is institutional. How does the party intend to survive? It intends to survive by playing to the roles. The people who want to destroy it are not playing by the roles. And it shouldn't be even an NUP issue. It should be a concern for everyone that why should political activity, especially civil and lawful political activity, be criminalized? So the party intends to survive the way it has survived before, by playing by the rules, because it's a firm believer in the rule of law that we know. The people also should know that the strength of NUP doesn't necessarily lie at Kavule, but it lies in why, because many people believe in it. It's the people who give it the mandate, not the other way around. It's not NUP as the headquarters which give the mandate to the people. So for as long as it has members who believe in this, because we've had movements world over. Some of them have even been, at one point, the revered Nelson Mandela was declared a terrorist. His group, ANC, was declared a terrorist group. So that did stop the movement from going because it had people who believe in it. So for as long as NUP sticks to the values and the people stick to their belief in NUP, it shall survive.
But also, as we conclude this conversation and in your closing remarks, the situation with the opposition, NUP, and also the opposition at large, there have been, again, fingers being pointed at you that the NUP lawyer, George Musisi, and also the Kira municipality MP-elect. With that,
the organization, even family organizations, have differences, have disagreements. The key issue is how do you resolve those disagreements? Every political group would have disagreements. I don't think you describe them as internal wrangles, because where politics, where one or two people are, they always tend to be people who see things differently.
To rightly put it, they say it's the leadership, the top leaders that always have the final say.
On what?
On everything that happens in the party, and the rest of you are sort of like oppressed.
Well, I'm in NUP and I don't feel oppressed, and every time I've needed to say something, I say it. So I don't know but maybe those are neighbors peering into it who fear. For some of us who are in, we're seeing a different position.
Council, what would be your closing remarks?
I think it pays when everyone advocates for fairness and rule of law, irrespective of what political affiliations you belong to. Because when you start looking at the law or what is right or wrong with political lenses, you lose the point and it doesn't help the country at a bigger level.
Okay, that is NUP lawyer George Musisi and also the Kira Municipality MP-elect. With that, Talk of the Nation comes to an end. We now stop for a break. When we return, we'll be hearing from the world of sport.
You are watching NTV Weekend Edition.
Moving on to sport, we do start off with rugby, where the Heathens Rugby Club defeated rivals Pirates by 30 to 26 points at Chadondo to register their third win in the Uganda Rugby Premier League. We do have the highlights from that game.
Heathens registered the first win in 4 meetings against Pirates as the Chadondo-based side rallied from behind to defeat the champions 30-26. Heathens started the better of the two sides and were awarded 15 minutes into the game as Ochan Trevor scored the first try of the game. Pirates responded immediately through Jeremiah Okello to level matters halfway into the encounter. Malcolm Okello, who was making his first start for Heathens this season, restored parity thereafter with the home side's second try of the game. Eliphas Emong scored a try for Pirates